Hey, 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 welcome to Credit Makes Sense with Natilla, the Frugal Creditista. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I am a financial educator, certified credit counselor, and owner of mnhfinancialservices.com, where we help consumers like you achieve massive financial transformations. We focus on three core areas: mastering your money, destroying your debt, and soaring your credit scores. Our main objective is to help you build a rock-solid financial foundation that you can begin leveraging to create wealth. So in April, Financial Literacy Month, I put out a blast email to those of my partners in prosperity to answer their questions live via Facebook on my business page. And the link is actually right below if you want to check some of the ones that we had out. One of the most popular questions that I got was, how can I begin to create a budget when I'm already behind in bills? So I wanted to go over and address some of that mentality, because I literally got more questions about this aspect of budgeting than credit, than eliminating debt, than preparing for home ownership, like through any of it. Like, I'm behind in bills. How can I budget if I'm already coming from behind? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I don't really get it. So let's talk about it. I think the primary misconception is what a budget is. It's not like all my money is together, now I'm gonna sit down and decide what to do with it. It's literally just mapping out your financials on paper. So you're going to get a sheet of paper or a spreadsheet, and you're going to put your income at the top. And then you're going to start deducting based on your monthly bills. I personally prefer paycheck budgeting, but sometimes when starting off, it's just good to look at everything for the month. So initially, if you're going to be having your bills in front of you, then that means that you got to get organized, right? So you got to actually get the bills, gathering them so that you can begin deducting them from your income. So you're going to gather what information you have on your mortgage, especially if you're behind. You're going to gather your information on utilities to either average out what your bill has been over the past 3 months, or if you're in a budget family, you just got to get the bill out, right? So you're going to do that for your utilities. You're going to do that for your vehicle if you have that, childcare expenses, and food. Food is a big one. So you notice I stopped right there. I didn't mention credit cards and personal loans or anything like that, because those are usually what most people view as their financial house. Me personally, I think shelter, because that's numero uno. Food, you got to eat, and your utilities, because you got to have light, gas, water, and all of that good stuff. I kind of put vehicle kind of in the middle between like need and non-need, because it is something, in my opinion, that you can adjust a little bit. And I'll explain. So you're going to do that. That's your very first step, to get those essentials, like non-negotiables. Gotta have food, gotta have utilities, and gotta have shelter, and deduct that from the income that you have to the top. So what I usually do with my courses or my workshop is that I have them put their income at the top after they gathered probably about 3 months worth of their financial statements, and we start with rent or mortgage. Deduct that. What do I have left? Then we go towards food. Deduct that. What do I have left? We go towards utilities. Deduct that. What do I have left? And we go through those three things just so people can get an idea of what money they have left after they spent the money on paper first. This is the transition from getting paid and just started paying bills, and really being intentional in spending your money on purpose. So we deduct those, and then we go towards childcare. You can't get rid of that. If you don't have childcare, then you probably don't know the pain that comes from paying childcare, because it's like no joke. And some people will put that like before shelter, like before I could even, like, I could move, but I need a good quality chair care for my child. So wherever it kind of is for you personally, remember, this is your personal budget, your personal spending plan. Do it accordingly, but deduct that. What do you have left? A vehicle, that includes car insurance and gas for the month. Deduct that. What do you have left? So if you spent your money on paper taking care of the things that are essential for you living and creating an income, right? Because your child care has to be on point if you're going to work. You're going to need to be able to get to and from work in a vehicle. So you have to take care of that. Obviously, you got to live somewhere. We covered that already. You got to have lights, gas, and water, etc. So we covered that. In addition, you got to eat, right? So you deduct all of those at a time and kind of do a running balance of what is left over, thereby spending your money on purpose before you bring in the non-essentials such as credit card debt and collections and charge-offs and all of that good stuff. Those are not non-essentials, because at some point you're going to get to, once you start deducting from your essentials, your non-negotiables, you're going to get to a point where somebody's just not going to get paid. So I'd rather you make that decision on purpose and on paper, so it can be a conscious decision, because it's no blocking that. I mean, let's just put this in perspective. They're not getting paid right now. You may decide to pay them in the future, but as of right now, if your funds are tight, on purpose, spend on paper who's going to get paid so you can be intentional about that. Now, before you go buy, pass all of the essentials and go to the non-essentials, I would look at your non-negotiables, your financial house, so to speak, and determine what are your options even off of that. If you are in my Credit Makes Sense community, and especially in my Credit on Fire Academy, I'm very, very, very honest with my members and some of the decisions that I've made that were not easy to make in order to relieve some of the financial pressure and stress, and in order to allow me to get my rebuild on. I had to rebuild and completely renovate my entire financial house, so to speak. And so we've given up cars and did voluntary repossessions. We've given up property and did deed and liens and short sales, and even just gave it back and let them foreclose on it in order for us to be able to get ahead. Sometimes you gotta wipe out some things in order to take a step forward. So what I typically like for my clients to do is to really get real with themselves on what may have to go that's a quote unquote part of your financial house. One of the main things that people are doing, or that's like crazy expensive, is the car area, the transportation, in addition to groceries. And I'll explain. So for the vehicle, I have a lot of individuals who I consult with for budgeting consultations and even in getting their credit together. And I'm noticing that they make probably, I don't know, $55,000 a year, and then they're paying with a car and insurance and vehicle like $700 a month. That's a lot when you consider what is taken out of your $55,000 already. You're not getting $55,000. I mean, you got the taxes being taken out of that. If you're contributing to your retirement, that's being taken out of that. You have insurance, oh my gosh, medical, dental, and all of that is ridiculously high. So what you bring home is really essential to be able to maximize on that. And then when a huge chunk of that is going towards a vehicle, that might be a decision for you to say, hey, maybe I can get me a beater somewhere versus paying or spending a huge chunk of my money on this high car note. I was about to say an expletive on this car note, right? So that's one area. Another area is food. I have so many people that go to the grocery store back and forth at will without a plan, no meal plan, no couponing, no anything. When funds are tight and you're behind already, being able to have a plan before you go into a facility whose sole purpose is to sell you on stuff and get money out of your pockets, your plan is to keep as much money in your pocket. And so in order to do that, creating a plan of meals, taking stock of what you currently have in your home and really planning out what you're going to cook based primarily on what you have in the house, what extras you need to be able to get in order to create a full meal, and then loving up on some leftovers, okay, and remixing some leftovers and turning them to additional meals. That requires some meal planning. It's not something that's super easy, but initially you get an idea of what core items need to remain in your house in order to make things happen on a weekly basis. Loving up on that crock pot, because if you're working a 9 to 5 or just work a lot of hours, period, you will find that you don't want to cook by the time you get home. And that's when most people eat out, even when they're behind in bills, because their kids got to eat. This requires planning. It requires preparation. And that's a great way for you to be able to save money. I probably saved, we were spending, and we're only a family of 4, sometimes 5, when my mom stays with us. Oh my gosh, like $750, sometimes $800 on a family of 5. And we've been able to cut sometimes that in half. Like I don't spend no more than like $450 now tops. And when I go to the store, meaning, the Targets, Walmart, or whatever I shop at, I'm including the non-food items as well. So I really don't spend that much on food items because I literally prep out my full month's meal on a calendar to ensure that I'm not going over my budget. And that's something that I've put into practice even past the financial turmoil that we went through. So that's what I want you to do. Look at those, look at the items in your financial house and see where you can cut back at. Can you perhaps give the car back if it's that dire? If it's not that dire, then can you coupon, meal plan, and maybe go to more than one store in order to bring down your food budget? With your mortgage, can you perhaps see if there's a hardship program where you can do interest only or skip a payment so you can get caught up on something else? The same thing with your car. With your utilities, are you on the budget plan so that you can kind of reduce some of the pool, especially if you live in a cold winter state. You know, those winters are no joke. That's when a lot of my clients get behind in the winter. I'm like, why didn't you write a budget plan? So see what that looks like for you. And then if you are like not even a point where the budget plan is going to be helpful, start looking at government assistance programs that can help you with some of these utilities, especially if you have children and you're a single parent, or actually if you have children in the house, period, they're usually pretty lenient and your income falls within a certain criteria. And I know elders always get assistance. At least what I found personally. And I'm in Illinois, so we have the LIHEAP program and something with a C. I have the list in my other office, but see what programs that are available that can assist you and get it caught up with your utilities. Now, the reason why I stopped here with just the items in your financial house is because these are the items that you can either cut back, but if you're already behind, these are also the items that you're going to focus on getting ahead of anyway. So before you go on to credit cards and personal loans, et cetera, the items that I mentioned here, shelter, utilities, food, childcare, vehicle, like those are super duper duper important. So before you go into anything else, look there first. So if you're behind in childcare, you know that your ability to be able to work is going to be an issue. So find out what you need to do to get current on that and what payment arrangements you can make. If you are behind in your mortgage, find out how you can get caught up on your mortgage. And even if maybe you need to let it go and rent for a little bit just to get financially ahead. Same thing with the vehicle. So don't even go anywhere else until you see that those are in order. Now, if you're caught up on that and you like subtract all of that and you only got a little bit left and you got like all this debt, then I want you to on purpose decide who's going to get paid. That can be a little bit tricky. Some easy things to let go of is like cable, because you have Netflix now, Hulu, Sling TV, Set TV, and some of everything else. There's so many different options. Even cable companies are offering options for like less than $25 a month for you to be able to assess that at. Some people are foregoing internet in favor of hotspot, good programs with a hotspot, so they may be something that you can cut. Now, let's say you have that extra money and you're deciding who else gets paid. And it's kind of like really deciding most people decide like what they want to pay or who's ready to give a deal. Me personally, I'm going to give you my personal experience. I had a debt list. The current folks, meaning those that were open and like not late, so they were still positive. And then I had a past due list. And so I wanted to make sure that I kept the positive accounts on point and they were well within a budget, which they were. And then I moved on to the past due list, meaning they were still open, they hadn't been charged off, they hadn't been sent to collections. And then I start calling to find out my options. So many of you mentioned in the emails that I got, this is one of them here that I got folded up, that you were afraid to even call because you knew they were going to start asking for money. Of course they're asking for some money. That's their job. But your job, keep abreast of what your job is. Your job is to just see what your options are. See what hardship programs that they offer. See if they would be willing to skip a payment. See, and remember that money you freed up for the items in your financial house. See who you're going to apply that to. But I would only apply that to the ones that you decide. And I did it by who was willing to give me the best deal at the time, so I can like pay them off or pay most of them off or be able to get that financial exhale, because that is everything. That's that financial stress that you just released right there. So see who's willing to do that. So I had a financial past due sheet, and I literally start calling and finding out seeing which one of those options fit into my budget. And that's one of the reasons why you want to, state your income and then subtract what's left, subtract what's left, subtract what's left. And then once you kind of cover your necessities, kind of draw a line and then start finding out your options from those other accounts that are non-essentials. What I find most people do, I am the Frugal Creditnista, so a lot of people come to me for credit assistance, is that some people are still trying to either get more credit or utilize their credit cards in some form of fashion. No, you need to stop charging and just worry about your financial house first before you bring the credit mix into the situation. And the reason why I say that, even though I'm a certified credit counselor and I slay credit like all day, every day, there is nothing felt immediately more than a money issue. So before I want you worried about your credit score, I really want you worried about releasing that money concern first, because that's felt immediately in our finances and our lifestyles and our relationships. And so it's important to do that first. And then once you kind of get back on track or get your head above water a little bit, we can start putting in some basic financial principles to try to save what has more than likely been damaged. So After you have kind of found out your options, you kind of want to look at the rest of your spending. And this is where a lot of people kind of shy away from because it's difficult to know that you got yourself in a situation in most cases. Now, for some of you, it's divorce, it's an illness, it's a death in a family. So something like that can really have a toll on your mental psyche, physically, if it was an illness. So, of course, medical debt, which is the number one reason why people file bankruptcy, can just take pure toil on you. And that's exactly what happened to us. So in that case, you really want to assess what went wrong. When I did this, I can easily say, oh, cancer kind of came in and wreaked havoc. But honestly, my credit habits sucked even before then. If I would have been saving some of my funds more so than spending, then we would have been able to shelter as much of a blow. I won't say it wouldn't affected us at all, but it definitely would have sheltered some of the blow because we would have had more financial resources to pull on, aka savings, aka a retirement fund. So we didn't have enough assets or enough savings, and we hadn't built up positive credit long enough in order for us to be able to rebound more quickly. So we were coming from behind, just as many of you who emailed me are doing in the same form of fashion. So I just wanted to put that out there to assess what some of your financial habits are and to begin working on halting them. And so this means, let me summarize, you've done the financial house, you've decided who's priority, you've shopped around or called around to see what your options are, you've reduced your spending habits and decided who's cut, who's getting priority and all of that good stuff. And now you're looking at some of your financial habits to see what needs to be worked on. And some of that involves really digging deep and seeing what some of your money beliefs are, but that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother video, but actively working on your habits. What works for me, I don't carry cards around. There's a mall or a shopping center, strip mall somewhere, and there's always a sale, and that'll trigger me, oh, I need this. Really, I don't need it. I want it. So I don't carry cards around with me. I have in my pocket my spending debit card that I have given myself on my out of my budget. So it's a line item in my budget and all of that good stuff. But when you're coming from behind, sometimes we're so stressful because all of our money is going towards bills. Sometimes you just need that exhale again. You just need to go get your nails done, your hair done, or something, a massage, what have you, pedicure, just to feel good. Go buy something to feel good about yourself. So this is what I mean by working on those habits. What things can you do that will alleviate some of that financial pressure and stress that does not involve you going deeper into debt or using some of the funds that can be getting you out of the very problem that you have expressed? For me, I've discovered walking. I love walking. Didn't know that at first. I had to find a free thing to do that did not involve me digging myself deeper and deeper into the hole. And that habit doesn't change. Just to give you a little bit of peace into my life right now that we've gotten rid of some of the smaller debts, we're paying on this huge, expensive student loan debt that we have. I have 2 masters. My husband has a master's and his BA that he's paying for. And it's like so much of our freaking income is going towards trying to slay this student loan debt. And it is really irritating to make the amount of money that we make, busting our behinds every single day to be able to have the money that we make so we can get out of debt, and to see such a huge chunk of that be able to go to somebody else. It is like super frustrating. And so I still go on like hour-long walks. I still go to like free festivities with the kids, like the movie in the park things. Almost every community has them. And we might do like the popcorn or something like that they have there, or bring our own. Yes, I'm that chick. And so that's just an idea of even though you have gotten out of the situation, there would still be something else pulling on your coins until you can do your debt-free dance, as Dave Ramsey followers say, and say you're done, and then solely focus on creating wealth. So hopefully this was informative. I know it was very detailed. So if you have any questions, definitely let me know. I left all of my contact information down below. Those of you who are in my Credit on Fire Academy, the courses I recommend you take to further expand on this: Budgets on Fire, Fire Your Debts, and the live lesson replays that are in the Budgeting and Debt Rebel folder. And if you're my client, of course, just email me, and I'd love to discuss this further. If we're not working on your budgeting and debt payoff plan, we can add that to your credit improvement plan so that you can begin slaying at every financial angle. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I hope it's a great one. And make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Bye-bye.